The family that fixed up America's riches is now spread out all over the place. One now runs a small gift shop after his big Las Vegas business went out of business. Another person makes handmade bikes after failing at professional sports. The trainee who didn't learn anything now has 3 repair trucks worth $450,000. The quiet expert on assembly, on the other hand, lives off-road in the woods with his son and teaches him survival skills that most people today have forgotten. Here's the amazing account of what took place. Rick Dale. Rick Dale was a big deal on the History Channel in the past. A lot of people were amazed by how he could fix up old things and make them work again every week on American Restoration. He did more than just fix things. He brought back memories and stories. Things changed in 2015, though. Rick and his whole crew were kicked off the show without any warning. Fans were shocked. A lot of confused and angry people took to social media to ask why one of the most famous parts of the channel was suddenly gone. Most people didn't know that things had already gone badly behind the scenes in 2014. The people who made the show wanted it to be more emotional. Real repairs were no longer important to them. It was their wish to have made up fights, problems, and scenes. That didn't make Rick happy. It took him years to build a good name by always doing things the right way. They tried to bring fake drama into his shop, but he fought them hard. The argument got so bad that Rick left in the end. After that, he was so upset that he could barely speak when he recorded a message for his friends. It was clear that his heart was hurt. Rick's health also got very bad after being on TV. The filming plan was very strict. He had to run a business full-time and be on TV almost every day. The pressure never stopped. To make things even worse, they rushed the restoration jobs to finish in time for the movies. It takes time and care to do that kind of work. And Rick didn't like it when his work was turned into short, flashy videos. He was mentally and physically worn out by it. Things didn't get better after I left the show. Rick's Restorations, his well-known store in Las Vegas, closed down in the end. It came as a huge surprise. It had become a popular spot for tourists. Fans used to go on trips just to tour and see the yard. Rick didn't give up, though. He turned around and went in a completely different way. He made a company called My Best Font Forward Creations. The shop uses lasers to cut and embroider patterns that are unique. They make holiday items and personalized gifts. Even though it sounds like a long way from his TV days, Rick could stay creative in his own way. Rick had already proven through the years that he was more than just a TV star. He wrote a book called Classic Soda Machines in 2014, which showed how much he knew about old machines. In a strange twist, he almost turned down the first chance to do a show. He didn't believe that his gas pump and soda machine repairs were big enough to hold the whole league. He was wrong. But it also shows that Rick never wanted to be famous. He looked for quality. Then, in 2020, something strange took place. Rick was on the show Pawn Stars, another big hit for History Channel. It was a surprise to see him back on after being away for 7 years. Fans began to wonder if this meant that American Restoration would be back, but there has been no news of a new show yet. Rick has a strong marriage to Kelly Mayer that has been there for him through everything. She was very important to the business and now works as a real estate agent. They still go out in public together, like when they were at the Las Vegas SEMA car show. It was shown in Season 3 of the show that they were engaged. They've been together since the early 1990s. They still seem to have a strong bond with each other. Today, Rick Dale isn't trying to get more viewers. He has a more relaxed lifestyle, but he still makes art and shares it online with his devoted friends. He has a net worth of about $2 million. He looks happy, though, which is more important. Tyler Dale. Most people thought of Tyler Dale as just the teen with the two-tone hair when American Restoration first came out in 2010. His birthday is September 25, 1993. And he was only 16 years old when filming started. But there was a lot more going on behind the scenes than what was shown on TV. At first, he was mostly known as Rick Dale's son. Tyler wasn't just learning how to fix up old things. He worked crazy hours and would sometimes stay at the shop until 3 or 4 in the morning. People thought it would be easy, but it wasn't. Work was tough, nights were long, and stress never stopped. Fans liked how the father and son would joke around with each other, but things weren't always so fun off camera. Tyler later admitted that his dad's high expectations caused a lot of stress. Rick didn't care about what the cameras saw. He didn't think the shop was a show. It was his whole life's work. That made things hard for Tyler, who had to figure out how to be on TV and live up to his dad's standards at the same time. He liked how well the show did and how famous it made him. It was heavy on the heart, though. Tyler has worked on more than 250 cleanup jobs over the years. He did more than just hand tools. Some of the things he learned were how to use water, guns, plasma cutters, sand blasters, and even how to figure out how old machines work. He learned how to work with wood, finish metal, mill, laugh, and more. He stopped being just the kid in the shop over time. Tyler had become the shop manager by the last season with the Dale family. He didn't get the job because of his name, but because he was good at what he did. Then everything changed in 2016. The network changed everything about the show and hired new actors. That would have been the end for many people. Tyler didn't try to get another reality show job, though. Instead, he learned more about the skill and did custom metal work at shops in California and Las Vegas. When he wasn't being watched by cameras, he went at his own pace. Has been putting together his 1965 Ford F-100 truck again. He bought the truck right after high school and fixed it up for himself, not for TV. Tyler has worked years on this build, which is different from the quick builds he does for the show. Every little thing was done slowly and carefully. He's built it the right way so that it will last 30 years, as he has said many times. Not how fast you can do it, but how well you do it. This makes him slow down sometimes, though. He has said that he thinks about how things could be better, even when they look good. Even though it's annoying, that way of thinking is part of what makes his work unique. He's not looking for praise. He's looking to be the best. Tyler has kept his cool when he's not in the shop. From 2012 to now, he's been seeing actor Haley Aaron. Some rumors went around when the show was famous, but he's never said anything about his personal life. He dated Jennifer Domingo for a short time, before Haley, but their relationship has been going on for more than 10 years. Tyler is famous for being on TV, but his net worth is only about $500,000. This shows that he's not interested in the flash. Respect is what he wants, not money. He hasn't been on social media much since 2021. In his last few posts, he showed off the truck build, and then he stopped talking. Fans want to know where he is, what he's doing, and if he's still restoring things. Dear Brettley Otterman, when the first season of American Restoration came out in 2010, Brettley Otterman was the first person that everyone made fun of. He was Rick Dale's young, stupid stepson, and he usually had to do the dirty work like sanding, cleaning, and hauling junk. Ron, Rick's brother, joked that some chores had to be changed so that Brettley couldn't do them. He seemed like the weak link on the show, someone who was there more for laughs than for skill. There's no need to sand, bend, rust, or dust. He is now married to Steph, and the two of them have 3 kids and live in Las Vegas. He has been able to balance work and home life, which is not something many reality TV stars can say. Fans might not expect to see another side of him. He loves music very much and has done for a long time. He plays the guitar and the harp. The thing he does is a big part of who he is. Michael Dale. Kelly Dale was a woman with a plan long before she ever showed up on TV. She had been a registered real estate agent since 2001 and worked on marketing and growing the business. But when she and her husband Rick Dale worked together on American Restoration, everyone saw how she really was. The repair work was done by Rick, but Kelly ran the business from behind the scenes. She wasn't just there to help. She had the idea that made Rick's repairs into something big. People saw Rick at work a lot when the show first started. They didn't see how Kelly changed the shop from a small family business into a huge draw for tourists in downtown Las Vegas. The shop's social media pages went crazy because of how good she was at marketing. More than 100,000 people followed them on Twitter, and 52,000 people followed them on Instagram in just 1 year. It worked when there was that much online buzz. Over 1,000 people came some days. They were more than just fans. They had paid money and were excited to see the famous workshop. But things changed in 2016 when Rick and Kelly were quickly taken off the show by the network. Fans were shocked. There were new people in charge, but they couldn't bring back the magic. The show was quickly canceled after the numbers dropped. It was called a process change. Rumors spread that there was tension behind the scenes, but no one confirmed them. She didn't slow down either way. She went back to work right away. She worked harder on real estate when the TV was out of the way. In Las Vegas, she sold house after house. She also grew into Kingman, Arizona in 2024. She worked hard even after that. She also began side businesses, such as My Best Font, Forward Creations, a company that makes handmade signs and embroidery. She used her understanding of real estate and her desire to help people find homes for veterans. Kelly wasn't just after money. She helped other people with her fame. She joined the Tour to Cure Diabetes in 2014. In just 4 months, she rode 65 miles and raised $20,000. This made her the best fundraiser in Las Vegas that year. That didn't just happen once. The American Red Cross, Helping Hands of Vegas Valley, the American Diabetes Association, and Veterans Village were some of the groups she helped. Her work with the Las Vegas Hospitality Association and on the board of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Museum is also still going strong. Her domestic life has been just as busy. Both Kelly and Rick had kids from previous relationships, and they kept the family together while sharing the attention. She spent more time at home after the show was over. She didn't go away, though. Her and Rick's work on new projects and staying in touch with the repair world went on. She has even co-hosted car shows with him, like the one in Nova Scotia, which keeps their love of old cars alive. Ron Dale. Life for Ron Dale has been more interesting than anyone thought it would be. He's best known for being the brother from American Restoration who is always happy. But Ron had a very different dream a long time before TV. Ron wasn't looking for fame through tools or cameras when he was born in Boulder City, Nevada, in 1970. His goal was to become a famous athlete. He was good at more than just football in high school. He could kick better than anyone else in the country. Miami, USC, Notre Dame, and Texas A&M were among the big schools that wanted to sign him. Jim Johnson, the famous coach who helped the Dallas Cowboys win Super Bowls, went to Ron's high school just to try to get him to join his team. Ron said it felt like a dream at that time. His main reason for choosing USC was so that his family could drive out and see him play. But there was a strange turn of events. While his friends did want USC to win, they would only do so if the team had to kick. That way, Ron could play. He kept trying even after football was over. He changed his career to baseball and threw for minor league teams that were connected to the San Diego Padres from 1992 to 1994. Then the moment that no athlete wants to face came up. He was cut. The dream was over in an instant. He was sad and didn't know what to do next, so he went back to Boulder City. He stayed out of sight by working at Budweiser for a while. In the middle of everything, though, his brother Rick got him interested in TV. It began with a short segment on Pawn Stars. Ron then went to work full-time for American Restoration. He wasn't just there for laughs. His job was to find rare parts and other things that Rick needed to keep the repair projects going. People liked Ron because he wasn't trying to be flashy or serious. He was just himself. Calm, funny, and devoted. Ron didn't try to stay famous after the show was over. He went down a completely different path instead, which was making custom bikes. It all began as a hobby he did on the side while working with his brother. He would make small cup cases and play around with cruiser bikes. After that, it grew into something bigger. Ron now makes what he calls BC bar hoppers, which are handmade bikes, out of his shop in Boulder City. Each one was based on a different bar in town. These bikes remind him of Southern California, so he only rides them on the beach. He says, "I'll act like I'm at the beach if I can't be there." So far, he's made about 12 bikes, and 5 more are in the works. It's even crossed his mind that he might make tandems next. But here's the catch. This isn't for money for him. He has a full-time job at Albertsons and makes bikes in his free time. He says they aren't fixed up or spotless. It's fun to look at and ride them. Even though his bikes have been in Boulder City's 4th of July parade and will be at the Spring Jamboree coming up, he still says it's just a hobby. Ron just recently got married again and stays close to his 2 kids, Jordan and Hunter. Now that he's 53, he's not after fame or money. Instead, he wants to find happiness. Ron feels at peace now that he's thought about everything from college football to reality TV to beach cruisers. A great life starts with a great family and ends with a great love. He says, Cowboy. Cowboy was one of those TV stars who seemed real even though everything around him looked like it was staged. People who watched American Restoration will remember him as the grumpy old man who was very good at polishing metal and working with wood. He didn't talk or smile much, and he never tried to impress anyone. But that's why people liked him. He wasn't pretending. Whether he was teaching someone how to sandblast better or complaining about something in the shop, he was just Cowboy. Aside from being on the show, Rick Dale had known Cowboy for about 15 years. This is one reason why he was cast in the first season in 2010. But while other cast members embraced fame, Cowboy stayed away. He never joined social media and rarely shared anything personal. Fans didn't even know his real name, Kevin Lowry, unless they looked hard enough. His attitude caused a lot of debate. Some thought his grumpy behavior was just for the show, but others who knew him in real life said he was just as bad off camera. One fan even said their tour at Rick's Restorations was ruined because Cowboy wouldn't take a picture with them. That made some fans wonder if this guy was really that rude, or if it was all part of the act. If he was a real problem, then why would Rick keep him around? The truth is that Cowboy knew what he was doing. In one episode, Tyler Dale had trouble sandblasting because a metal piece got stuck. Without trying too hard, Cowboy told him to use walnut powder instead of sand, and it worked right away. It was those quiet, expert moments that made him valuable. Behind the angry face and rough voice, there was a mentor who knew his stuff. Then, American Restoration was suddenly canceled in 2016, shocking fans. After 6 seasons, the show was gone, and it didn't come back with the same cast when the History Channel brought it back in 2018. Fans were just as shocked as Rick was. There were rumors that ratings were going down and that Rick wanted more money, but the network wouldn't give it to him. After that, Cowboy disappeared from view. His last known appearance was on Rick's Instagram in early 2016, but it looked like he was still working at the shop at that time. Fans who went to the show said they still saw him around. He didn't care about being famous. He just wanted to work. In 2019, Rick's Facebook page posted a picture of Cowboy. He looked thinner, but he still had that same quiet stare. Fans were glad to see him again, but the excitement didn't last long. Soon after, Rick closed the restoration business for good. Kyle Attorga. Kyle Attorga wasn't just another worker in a restoration shop. He was the expert who made sure everything fit back together when no one else could. From 2010 to 2016, people who watched American Restoration saw Kyle as the quiet expert. Kyle wasn't flashy or loud, but his hands spoke for them. Rick Dale gave him the hardest jobs, especially putting everything back together again after it had been taken apart. If the parts didn't line up or something didn't work right, Kyle fixed it. He had a unique ability to see how machines fit together, even when they looked like a mess. Fans loved how Kyle and the grumpy cowboy became friends out of the blue. Kyle picked up and drove the grumpy cowboy to work every day, no matter how grumpy he was. That said a lot about Kyle. But after the show stopped in 2016, Kyle didn't try to stay in the spotlight. He didn't open a store or start a business like the others did. Instead, he quit working with cameras and went straight into the wilderness. By 2017, he was leading hunting trips across 45,000 acres of rough land in the Samaran Valley of New Mexico. That's not just a new job, it's a whole new life. It was snow, steep canyons, and survival, instead of the bright lights and excitement of Las Vegas. Most people didn't know that this side of Kyle had always been there. Before he was on TV, he spent years riding broncos and wrestling bulls in rodeos, where he built the toughness and grit he'd need for the wild. It snows almost 4 feet a year in northern New Mexico. The land is rough and the weather is mean, but Kyle knew how to live with it instead of fighting it. What makes Kyle's story unique is that he is teaching his son, Ben, everything he knows. Ben was only 10 years old when they first started going into the mountains together. Kyle is teaching him how to live off the land, not just how to hunt animals or build shelters. This isn't just a job for Kyle. It's about keeping the old ways alive, which he calls the mountain men tradition. In a world full of apps and machines, Kyle is one of the few people still teaching real survival. When the cameras stopped rolling on American Restoration, Kyle didn't try to become famous on social media. He just disappeared. No flashy Instagram, no interviews. It's like he never wanted to be famous in the first place. His time on the show seemed more like a detour than a destination. He now has a quiet, rough life in the wild, which is what he always wanted. Ted Haig. Ted Haig's story is different, but just as interesting. He wasn't on the regular team, but they called him in whenever the job needed perfect painting. One time, he turned an old Montgomery Ward fridge into a sleek wine cooler, where the paint job was so perfect, it looked like it came from the factory. Ted had already made a name for himself in Las Vegas with his business, Letter Perfect Incorporated, long before the show. He started out in the 1980s learning from old masters of hand lettering, the kind of painters who were about to retire and take their secrets with them. Ted learned everything they taught him. He had so much work by 2014 that he opened a second shop in Phoenix. Ben does.